Hello everyone. Today's class is going to be about shoulder mobility. So ideally, if you've got a strap or a resistance band or something like that, we'll use that for a couple of the exercises. If you don't have one, don't worry, you can just skip that part because there's plenty of other ones that you can do. Good, so we'll start by just doing some nice shoulder rolls to warm up. So pulling the shoulders back up towards the ears. Good. Breathing into it. Good, and now forwards. Perfect. Good, and then putting your fingertips onto your shoulders. And we're going to bring the elbows out to touch in front of our face. And we're going to pull the shoulders back and try to get the wrists to touch behind the head. And then pull the elbows back. So elbows to touch in front of the face, wrists behind the head. And just breathing into it here as well. Pulling the shoulders back. Elbows, wrists, pulling the shoulders back, elbows, wrists, elbows, wrists, elbows, wrists. Good, and release. Perfect. So now we're going to grab onto our elbows. And now we're going to just take our shoulders in a circle here. So we want to be make sure we're moving from the upper back and just pulling through the arms, circling from the upper back, stretching through the side body. Trying to arch your back backwards at the top. And looking up to the sky. Good. And release. Good. And now we're going to interlock our hands behind our backs. So right hand up first, hand to the top of the back, and then trying to interlock the fingers if we can here. Again, you can use the strap here if you need to, or the resistance band to pull yourself in, or even a t-shirt or sock or something like that. Good. Just keeping the back nice and straight here. Elbow behind the head or slightly to the side. And just deep breaths. Good, and then swapping over, left arm at the top, right hand comes underneath. It's always a little bit more tricky on one side than the other. Just remember to keep the back nice and straight, look straight ahead. Use the strap if you need to. Good, and release. Perfect. And now we're going to bring our right arm over the top, left arm over the underneath, And we're going to interlock our elbows here. And then we can maybe have the backs of the hands together, or you might want to bring the palms together if you've got that stretch there. And then just pulling the elbows away from the body, feeling that nice stretch through the backs of the shoulders. Breathing into it. Try to move the hands away from the body, keeping the elbows up so the backs of the arms are parallel with the floor. It's a nice deep stretch in the shoulder blades. Good. And release. And then we'll bring the left arm over the top. And again, backs of hands, or try and get the palms or the fingertips to the palms. And lifting the hands up and away from you. Stretching through the shoulders. So again, you can do all of these standing up as well if that's easier, or sitting at a desk. Good. And release. Good. Now a couple of side stretches. So hand on the mat, and then lifting up your elbows your forearm might come down to the mat here. Rotating your chest up towards the ceiling, stretching through, thinking about twisting up. Good. And the other side. We're just going to move through a bit of a flow here, so just in your own time. Stretching to the side, rotating up. Breathing into it. Good, and back to center. Perfect, so now we're going to use the strap or the resistance band. Dressing gown strap is also really good for this. So we're going to start quite wide on the band, and then we're just going to keep our arms straight and lift up over. Try and keep the arms straight, get all the way down. If you need to bring your hands wider, please do so. Good, and just moving the band from the front to the back. Again, in your own time, nice and controlled. Using the breath. Good. Then you might want to move your hands in a little bit closer, have a shorter space in between the hands, and see how that feels. Again, you want to be keeping the arms straight, so don't strain too much. And again, just nice and controlled from the front to the back. Good, and release. Perfect. And then we're going to come onto our toes, sitting back on our heels. And we're going to use the strap behind us this time, so holding onto the strap. And then we're going to lean forward and put the crown of our head on the ground and bring our hands over, stretching through the backs of the shoulders. Breathing deeply. If you don't have a strap, you can also do this with hands interlocked. But wherever you are, just letting the hands fall over the back of the head. And breathing deeply. Good. And coming back up. Perfect. And then onto the belly. We're going to do a chest stretch here. So elbows out at right angles. We're going to come onto the fingertips of the left hand, right ear to the mat, and left toes come to touch behind and just sink into the right side of your chest. And breathe here, just take a moment to find a position that feels good and you're feeling that nice stretch in the chest and the front of the shoulder. Breathing here. Good. And then coming back onto your front and switching sides. So up onto the right fingertips, left ear to the mat. And then right toes come behind the left leg, sinking into the left shoulder and chest. Breathing here. Good. And then coming back to lie on the belly, forehead to the mat again. So you can watch this as I demonstrate it, just so we know exactly where our arms are going to be. So we're going to do some controlled swimmers. So forehead on the mat. I'm going to start with our hands interlocked behind our head, elbows on the mat, on the floor. And then we're going to lift the elbows, extend the arms, move the arms backwards. And then we're going to flip the palms up to the ceiling and bring the backs of the hand to our lower back and lower our elbows down. And then come back, elbows up, extend the arms, flip so the palms are facing downwards. Bring the arms forward nice and controlled. And then hands into the back of the head, elbows down. Good. And together we can do it again now. So raising the elbows up. Hands come forward, extend. Slowly bringing the arms back. Flipping the hands. Bending at the elbows and bringing the backs of the hands to the lower back. Touching the elbows down. Bringing the elbows back up. Straightening the arms, flipping the palms down, slowly moving the arms forward. And then hands come to the back of the head, lower down the elbows, and again one more time. Lifting the elbows, Extending the arms, moving the arms back nice and slowly, flipping the palms up, bending at the elbows again, bringing the hands to the lower back, touching the mat with the elbows. Again, rising the elbows up, straightening the arms, flipping the palms down, bringing the arms forward. And then hands come to the back of the head and lower the elbows down. Good. And release. Wonderful. And then we'll finish with puppy dog pose. So again, we want the knees underneath the hips. We're just going to walk our hands forward. If this is too much, you can also bring the hands to the wall. I'll show you that in a second as an alternative. We're going to bring the forehead to the mat. And just pull the hips back, pull the arms forward, stretching through the shoulders, sinking the chest to the mat. I want to think about melting the chest right down. So that's option 1. Or option 2, you can push the wall away and let your shoulders sink down here. Good. So there's the 2 options. Wherever you are, just releasing into the pose. Maybe crawling your hands forward a bit if you're in puppy dog pose. Breathing deeply. Good. And coming back up. And that's everything for today. Thank you so much.